Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is April Barlow. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am serving as your worship associate this morning. I'm joined by our worship leader, Daniel Polk, whose pronouns are he, him, his. We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time, or whether you've been here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. Please be our guest after the service for tea, coffee, and conversation in the fellowship hall. As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys, sorrows, and concerns. You are welcome to fill out a joys and sorrows slip on the table near the Welcome Center, in the pockets of chairs, and on the joys and sorrows table in the front of the sanctuary, or you're welcome to light a candle. This can be done at any time before the service or in service from the beginning through the offertory. As we prepare for our service this morning, please take a moment to set your cell phone and other electronic devices to worship mode. Before we begin worship, we have a few announcements. I encourage you to read the inserts and the printed announcements on the right in your order of service. You may also want to take home the inserts or order of service to magnet to your refrigerator as a reminder of upcoming events in which you're interested. We have more plants for sale. Please see Eileen after service to pick up your favorite new plant. And now an announcement from Kent.
Good morning. This is the last Sunday of Darla Bostic's art on our walls, and she is in Amsterdam painting and drawing and teaching and is not here today. I'll be in the back of the sanctuary for those of you who are considering purchasing a piece of her art. Thank you very much. We'll have a new exhibit starting next Sunday.
Good morning. Who here has a dirty car? All right, so next Sunday, the COA, it's doing a fundraiser car wash fundraiser to finalize our money for our trip to Boston, or their trip to Boston. I'm not going. Anyway, so please, there's a QR code to sign up for your slot, and there's a sign out in the lobby, so get your car cleaned next week.
Our call to worship this morning is from Kalidasa. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream and tomorrow's but a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Our chalice lighting this morning is the words from United Nations Secretary Dag Hammarskjöld. Each morning, we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and give back.
Each Sunday through the summer, we water the flowers we planted communally in our Earth Day ritual in April to remind us of the seeds we plant in community each time we come together at Horizon. Please join me in saying our watering words. You'll find them on the screen behind me. In colors bright and essence sweet, like flowers we blossom when we meet. O source of life, our song we raise. This beauty fills our hearts with praise. Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 368 in the gray hymnal, Now Let Us Sing.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Jeanette Bailey, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And this morning I have the pleasure of reading our story during our time for all ages. Before we start, I'll remind you that Horizon UU Church partners with Metro Crest Services to help people in need in our area. Each Sunday, you are encouraged to bring personal care products and shelf-stable food items for their pantry. You are also invited to bring food items for Horizon's little free pantry that we have outside on the church grounds. Pop-top, ready-to-eat meals are very popular. All donation items can be dropped off in the baskets here in the sanctuary and in the church lobby. So let's get to our story. Our story for this morning is entitled Where Happiness Begins. It is by a Dutch author and illustrator named Eva Eland. Are you looking for happiness? This little person is looking in all sorts of jars. It often has disguises and goes by different names. Some days it seems to be hiding, while on others it's right there with you wherever you go. You can try to understand it, collect it, or protect it. You can try to catch it. But most of the time, happiness appears to have a will of its own. And sometimes it may feel as if there are too many things that get between you and happiness. It's not always easy, but when you find your way through, happiness will be there waiting. When you do find it, start following. See where it will take you. Happiness is enjoying having a little chase right there. Happiness may be different from what you expect or feel a little scary at first, but it will let you find new paths, enjoy your time with family and friends, and do the things that you love to do. You can't feel happy all the time. You might feel overwhelmed by your feelings and that you can't always control them. But you can find your way home. Just breathe. In that quiet moment, you will realize that you don't have to keep looking for happiness. It was always there. Recognize it and treasure it, because in the end, happiness begins with you. And that's the end. What I liked about this story is that the author talks about how we aren't happy all the time. We might think that that would be really great if we were happy all the time, but that's not what happens. We do have other feelings. We feel sad or mad or overwhelmed, and it's okay to feel all of our feelings. Happiness will return. So I'll ask you to think about where you find happiness, and I hope you'll be on the lookout for it in the week ahead, and that you will find it happening for you in different places as you go about your days. Thank you so much for listening, and now we will sing the children out to their rooms.
We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity.
Where this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of peace.
A reading from poet Phillip Appleman, published in December 1978. They're always whispering, missing buttons, crow's feet, rust. And I tried to ignore them at first, but they keep it up. Half-souls, dry rot, biopsies, Studebakers. That does it. And I have to yell back, virgin wool, fresh coffee, tennis balls, new pennies, robins. And that holds them a while, but they always come again, sometimes at night, sometimes in crowded elevators, loose shingles, they whine, soil erosion, migraines, dented fenders. I hold my ears and shout, high tide, fresh bread, new shoes, oranges. And people around me nod and straighten their shoulders and smile. And I think for a moment I've won. But of course, you never win. And it gets to be almost a game. They give me oil spills, sewage, sludge, tobacco smoke. I come back with swimming pools, butterflies, cornfields. They give me Calcutta, Gary, Coney Island. I rattle off Windermere, Isfahan, Bloomington. But by the time I'm at work, it gets serious. All lapsed memberships and auto graveyards and partial dentures and subcommittees and leaves in the eaves. And right there at my desk, I bellow, daffodils and sailboats and burgundy and limestone and birch trees and robins. Damn it, robins! And my boss pats me on the shoulder, and my secretary takes it in shorthand. And everywhere, efficiency doubles. I'm doing it, after all, for them. And yet, deep down, I know, in fact, it's no more daffodils than it's half-souls. What it really is morning without a hangover, but a 50% chance of rain. It's a cost of living raise and a slight case of heartburn. Well, we all know about the slow leak, the scratch on our favorite record, the 7:12, 40 minutes late, sure. But passenger pigeons, Studebakers, that's going too far. We have our pride, our good intentions, our metabolism. We won't be shunted off with clipper ships and whooping cranes. We're going to hang in there, all of us, because the robins may be showing wear, but still, by God, there are robins.
Good morning. It's good to be with you again. The seeds for this sermon were planted some decades ago by a sermon I heard from the Reverend Don Fielding. If you run into him, he might like to know that I was paying attention. He talked about the practice of some Christians who will spreading the good news, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Instead of writing this all out on a poster for football stadiums and other events, they just use a form of shorthand, John 3:16. Then he had other examples from other faith traditions, which have their own shorthand, their core, the crux of their message. And then he asked us, what's on the Unitarian Universalist sign? So what are we going to put? Because, of course, a paragraph is going to be impossible. Who would even decide what's going to be in that paragraph? How would we decide upon it? You know, it's going to be two signs, right? No. He just said, because each of us has our own message. Then he held up a bunch of other signs with other members of the congregation, because we each have our own message. So I offer us Alan's good news, Ken's good news, Dennis's good news, Ann's good news, Warren's good news, Alex's good news, Marty's good news, April's good news. We all have our own message, our own good news. Then he asked us, what would be the good news on our sign? Obviously, I found it interesting because 30 years later, it's still percolating. So, what is my good news? Well, UUism is much too vague an answer, and if you talk at me for any length of time or following me on Facebook, you know I have a wide range of passions. Education, energy policy, conservation, processed sugar, the cattle industry, impact on environment, reproductive rights, sexuality, education, tasteful home furnishings, building materials. I love to put color on things. Color to me brings joy. And telling bad jokes, Eileen, yes. All of those, but they're just pieces of the puzzle. For a short time, I thought I had my answer, but it was only a portion. Some of my spiritual high points have involved music, with the release involved in singing flat out, full throttle, eyes spinning like a Las Vegas slot machine. I remember one Christmas Eve when a fine rendition of the Hallelujah chorus, after which the daughter of a choir member, he was a bass baritone who had just completed singing repeated E's above middle C, fortissimo. His daughter said that she now knew what the musical mark FF really stood for. Funny face. I recall a few instances of my own. Sang a choir bit in college. One Sunday we were in rare form for Ralph Vaughan Williams' For All the Saints, which you heard today in our Prelude. This was a new hymn for me and took a few hours for my eyeballs to settle back down. We only had 3 sopranos for the descant, but they planted their feet and their voices sailed across the sanctuary. For thy Savior's soldiers true and bold. Or the service at the All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. for the 1993 March. 700 of us in a sanctuary that maybe seats 550. There are more looking into windows from the courtyard, and at least 4 or 5 sharing the hymnal. And I'll tell you, it was, instead of reading 3 people to the side, it was easier to read from the hymn book on the row in front of you. We could barely hear the pipe organ as we sang out the processional, all creatures of the earth and sky. The Spirit moves. And the organ finally cut off the applause. We were a lively bunch. Cut off applause for the sermon as it introduced the closing hymn when we sang Faith of the Free like it had never been sung before. General Assembly is another instance for robust, which means loud, singing. And we had the tradition for many years of singing the ministers in as they process for the service of living tradition, as we'd sing rank by rank, again we stand, and then sang them out with our words for all the saints. When you have a few thousand people who know the words and the tune, the Spirit moves. This annual event is where we recognize ministers retiring from full-time service. We honor those who've died and welcome new ministers into the fold. I'm an institutionalist and historian at heart and cannot go the whole time without dry eyes, especially as the first one I attended was at Yale University's historic Wolsey Hall, a grand room. Now, church isn't the only place I sing or the shower. I used to hang out at a bar on Friday nights where the pianist would put his hand on the keyboard and we'd sing the oldies with words in a songbook called Hymns We Love, H-I-M-S. There was just something wonderful about this group of guys, cocktails in hand, belting out in tenor, bass, and baritone. Where the boys are, someone waits for me. The joy of singing is a great and emotional and physical high, but only part of my good news. An answer finally came to me when I was shopping at Whole Foods Market. Does that mean anything? I'd started thinking about hymns to use with the sermon, and one favorite came to mind, the old family hymn. I call it that because my grandmother was a Tennyson, fourth cousin twice removed to Alfred Lord Tennyson, a Portia tail cousin, but a Tennyson. Not in vain the distance beacons, forward, forward, let us range. The key to this puzzle is my cockeyed optimism, a determination to find the good in each situation. This is not a Pollyanna denial that bad things will happen, but that the good will get us through the tough times, like stepping stones that let us cross a stream without getting soaked. I found these stones to be useful over the years. There were times when friends were experiencing barrage of woes and tragedies. And when I wrote this sermon 17 years ago, I said, politics seemed to have sunk to an all-time low, beyond depressing. I would love to go back to that time. Thank goodness for the bright spots and friends who join me in the enjoyment of bad puns and bad jokes. If it weren't for that belief in good things, no amount of mood-elevating drugs of any type would have lifted my depression. So I don't want people to get sick. Sometimes I feel like a friend of Job and don't want to send the cards, but oh, we see the crescent promise of our spirit has not set. Ancient founts of it, inspiration, well through all our fancies yet.
To honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that we are all interconnected and that what affects one affects us all. A joy from Anonymous saying, thanks to Katie Savage for the beautiful mural in our kitchen. Amen to that. We also light a candle for all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Mary Gear issues this invitation to us all. I invite you to imagine holding a ball of light. It might be a glass ball reflecting the light of the sun. Not too hot, just warm and comforting to your touch. It might be a beach ball, light and airy and colorful, or any other ball that you can imagine. As your body is comfortable, as you breathe in, raise that ball to the sky, toward the sun. Imagine your ball absorbing the warmth and light of the sun. Warm, cozy, comforting. As you breathe out, lower your ball to your belly, soaking in the warmth and light. breathe. Once more, as you breathe in, raise your ball to the sky, toward the moon and stars, the cool and quiet night sky, stars glowing in the vastness of space. Imagine your ball absorbing the coolness and quiet of night. As you breathe out, lower your ball to your belly, soaking in the cool and quiet of night. One last time, as you breathe in, raise your ball to the sky, toward all the planets and solar systems and galaxies out in the vast and beautiful universe. Imagine your ball connected to that vastness, absorbing the mystery and beauty of space. As you lower your ball to your belly, soak in the mystery and beauty of the universe. Breathe. In gratitude for this day, for this earth, for this community, for this way of life, we pray. Blessed be. Amen. Blessed be.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, each temple, all space, each shrine, the good heart, its creed, all truth, its ritual works of love.
Our responsive reading today. First, I want to tell us a little bit. One of our ministers, the Reverend Marjorie Montgomery, died on Sunday last week. She'd been minister of our church in Fort Worth from 1980 to 1990, so she had lived a full life. I remember her years ago introducing responsive reading, and she asked us to first take a moment to look over the reading so that we knew what we were saying and what we were agreeing to. So I invite you to take a moment to look at number 660, to live deliberately, so that we know what we're saying.
Today's responsive reading, To Live Deliberately, comes from Henry David Thoreau. The words are projected on the screen and found at number 660 in the gray hymnal. Why should we live in such a hurry and waste of life? We are determined to be starved before we are hungry. I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life. I wish to learn what life has to teach, and not, when I come to die, discover that I have not lived. I do not wish to live what is not life. Living is so dear. Nor do I wish to practice resignation unless it is quite necessary. I wish to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life. I want to cut a broad swath, to drive a life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. If it proves to be mean, then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it and publish its meanness to the world. Or if it is sublime, to know it by experience and to be able to give a true account of it.
Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade passes by. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them, with the best of them. I can hold my head up high, for I've got a goal again, I've got a drive again. I'm gonna feel my heart coming alive again before the parade passes by. Look at the crowd up ahead. Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. Look at that crowd up ahead. Pardon me if my old spirit is showing. All of those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals crash and the sparklers light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof, I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone, give me an old baton before the parade. When the parade passes by, listen and hear that brass harmony growing. When the parade passes by, pardon me if my old spirit is showing. All of those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals crash and the sparklers light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof, I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone, give me an old baton before the parade passes by. I'm gonna raise the roof, I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone, give me an old baton before the parade passes by.
Channeling Barbara Streisand. So my live life to the fullest approach is inspired partly by Thoreau's writing as well as that of Auntie Mame, whose story is summed up in her statement that life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death. Now, if you ever really get down in the dumps, go dig up that movie, the 1958 version with Rosalind Russell, not the horrid thing with Lucille Ball, and you find a zest for life infectious. Or you might dig up a copy of her autobiography entitled, what else? Life is a Banquet. And you see how Russell's story echoes that of Maine. In contrast, I remember an uncle of mine who lived a very repressed existence, always with an excuse for remaining closeted and not going out and living life. He died with plenty of money because spending any of it to go visit relatives or even wear new clothes instead of his old rags would have been too much trouble. How I wish I could have hired Auntie Mame to seduce him because he was starving, missing out on life's banquet. So I came up with a list of, you might say, a theology of, according to Thoreau and Maine, live a graceful life in harmony with nature and respect to our fellow beings. Leave your world a better place than you found it, whether that means cleaning up the shared kitchen, planting flowers, or a couple trees, or teaching the neighbor children something useful that they'd enjoy. There's a Jewish name for this, tikkun olam, which translates literally as to repair the world. 3, remember that life is a series of highs and lows that fit together and sometimes fall apart. Without that variety, life would be a perpetual drive across West Texas. Our job in life is to use what we've learned, appreciate it, and pass it on, and learn some more. Finally, have some fun along the way. Take advantage of your opportunities, but do it with some class and style and joy. So this approach based in optimism of expecting good things came together for me on a warm, sunny Sunday afternoon. Less than an hour later, I heard the first reports of that shooting at our congregation in Knoxville. Someone walked in with a shotgun, targeted our church because we were liberals. But it was a promise of good that gave me hope, as I knew other congregations would be supportive, our leaders would respond, and our children would be resilient. Like many, I was surprised by the outpouring of support from other faith communities and by the sympathetic new media coverage. It might have been good exposure, but we paid a very high price for all that free publicity. I was also gratified to hear swift response by members of the congregation as they swiftly cared for the wounded, sheltered the children, and tackled the gunman who had the nerve, the gall, to complain that they were hurting him. Those soft, weak liberals did break his arm. As the congregation gathered next Sunday for what was a powerful service, they sang the first song in our hymnal, number 1, "May Nothing Evil Cross This Door." And the children joyfully led the singing of "Tomorrow." And again, those stepping stones of grief, of good and hope, made it easier to cross the rivers of grief and sadness. Yes, we dip into the future, far as human eye can see. So I get around to writing my This I Believe essay, even though National Public Radio no longer carries that program, and somehow confine myself to only 4 minutes. It will be that on my theme that good things will happen. World peace may still be possible. Warring groups can learn to get past their theological and ethnic internal divisions. And maybe, just maybe, our nation will help to repair the state of our relations, and sanity might prevail in our elected process. I said I'm an optimist. And maybe, just maybe, I might even get my house cleaned someday. I also believe that one day children will have enough to eat and a safe place to sleep and play. At the end of their day, their children will have the time and energy to read to them and with them. Their schools won't be expected to do all the work, that our children will live to grow without fear of poverty and strife. And the school teacher in me also believes that children will someday stop abusing the apostrophe, consistently use the Oxford comma, and please spell correctly. Okay, language lesson done for the day. And yes, I see some good things that I've helped happen, whether it's that tree that I planted so tall it's now 30 feet tall. I've worked helping as an elementary teacher, seeing kids get excited about literature and helping unlock the mysteries of math. I remember one time a fifth grader who remembered the name of a book I had read when I was substituting to her first grade class. 4 years later, she still knew the book. And yes, I also believe we can get past our isms that divide us. In the past 150 years, we've made great strides in addressing racism, sexism, though there's still much to do. But even in my short lifetime, I have seen progress. Homophobia is fading. Today's youth are much more accepting of others. But there was one point, a simple bumper sticker that marked a pivotal time in our culture. Now, way back in the day, back when I was a kid, and some of you remember the bumper stickers plastered on the activist car. Back in the day, it was the Volkswagen and the Volvo in the 60s. In the 80s, it was the Honda, worn out heaps with many miles and more, and a few dents and in need of a good thorough cleaning, like mine. Never on the sedans of the bourgeoisie. But it was after that 1993 march in Washington. I saw a rainbow sticker on a new Lincoln Town Car with Mississippi plates. I knew that we had undergone a paradigm shift. Finally, I believe that our nation will get in the habit of reducing and recycling before it's too late. We can become energy self-sufficient, that humans will learn to exist with the planet and the other beings also here and in the middle of the hot and dry Texas summers. I hang in a hope that someday it will rain again. With such a list, it's not too far for me to believe that our own congregation will strengthen and grow. So I invite you to write your own essay or to say what will be on your sign, whatever it is. My sign is good things will happen. What's your sign? Blessed be.
Well, I feel special. I have a sign. Ooh. We extinguish the flame. We extinguish the flame.
Oh, yes.
But not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, hymn number 143 in the gray hymnal, Not in Vain, the Distant Beacons.
Through the shadow of the
benediction is, we take the fire within us and share with others as we go. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.